about, am I too far over that way and spraying lime on the headland? Okay, we are going to run out. Oh, okay then. So it's going to take, it's probably going to take 2 more runs with the lime. Then we'll get back to ploughing. So this field doesn't look like it's been ploughed. I think that still looks like the texture that harvesting potatoes leaves behind. So it does need ploughed. We'll have to do that sometime. I think probably get the contracts done first, and then we did get paid for that last one, yes. So 2 more contracts to do. As I said, not doing the lime contract. That button. Open all the things and that button will load it. So we have barely just a little more than a full tank of lime. Might need to order some more. Maybe, I think maybe what we'll do is we'll do the smaller plough field first, just because it's down on the other side of the southernmost road and we just haven't been down there yet. And then the big field is on the way back to the farm, so we'll visit new lands first, and then don't know if we've done anything in 90 before, but it wouldn't surprise me. So it did kind of occur to me that I could consider doing some sorghum. But stuff to remember is that we do not have a harvester, but you can whole crop sorghum, so I could run the forage harvester over it. But if I make whole crop silage and grass silage and maize silage, I'm going to need a 3rd silage bunker. So that kind of polished off that plan, and instead that's why I'm looking at, we're probably going to end up planting corn in this field, just so that we can we basically get a bumper crop of maize silage for the coming year, or for the coming fall. And we're out again. But eventually, I am planning on having 3 silage bunkers, primarily so that I can cycle. When we get cows, we'll be creating maize and grass, and so I'm going to need an active feed bunker and one where I am collecting the next harvest. So as we finish off, or as we start cutting grass, I can put grass in the empty silo. We compact it, we cover it over, and then the next month, once it's finished fermenting, I can sell all the old grass silage and open up the new one for feed. But I'm never going to be out without feed. The only risk I might have is where I'm cutting maize and grass in the same month, at that point I'm going to have to figure out, you know, how to do the feed. Okay. 5,000 or 10,000? I think I only need 5. And that should leave me still about 2,000 litres and change in the supply silo. I don't think, I think this is, I only need 1 more. I think I only need 1 more. And if I do need more than 1 more tank, then it's going to be very, very close to not much. Ooh, crunch. Oh yeah, it kind of crept up on me. I really didn't realise that the next Farm Sim DLC is going to be released next week. It's the Oxbow pack, which is a lot of manure and slurry spreaders and a couple of other bits of equipment. I think you end up with about 6 configurations of equipment, but 4 vehicles, something like that. But it'll be, I mean, that'll be dropping, I think, next Tuesday. This field looks a little bit rough. Oh, shuffle over a bit. Let's get the whole width. There we go. So yeah, that's, as I said, that kind of snuck up on me. I really wasn't aware we were that close to the next drop. Obviously, the next one I'm looking forward to is the premium edition, which is going to be all of the big new stuff and the carrots and the, I keep thinking onions, but it's not onions, it's red sugar, red beets and parsnips. And yes, we're out, but there is only a tiny bit left to go. We just have a long way to drive. City Skylines 2 should be out, I think, somewhere around the 10th of next month. Again, it's another game that I'm looking at and saying, I can probably play it on this PC, but it's recommending something quite substantially more than this PC is. Can't remember if it may be both processor and graphics card. So I did get into that situation before. I think it was, oh, what was it? Mech Commander, which was a sort of isometric, you're commanding an entire unit of mechs in succession of scenarios. I kind of like that style of games. Well, I wanted to buy it, and it's, I think I was down at the required, and at that time the game was set up to, if you don't have the required minimums, I'm not even going to install, type of thing. And I didn't have the required processor. It was some form of Pentium, but quite a bit bigger than the one I had. But it said if you have specifically a Matrox Mystique graphics card, then that gets around the processor requirement. and I happened to have the Matrix Mystique in the PC at the time, so it was sort of, oh good, I can install this game and play it, yay. And it was quite an enjoyable game to play at the time. But yeah, I wish it would still, you could still get it. And it's probably for sale on Good Old Games. Wouldn't be surprised if it is, shall we say. But that was a fun little game to play. I'm still trying to get into Fantasy General 2. I get started and then get distracted, and work and chores and everything else, and it's like 3 months later I've got no idea where I got up to. I don't know what my plans were, so I start over again. And a lot of games I play, apart from Farming Simulator where I'm playing every Saturday, but this is the only game save I have running now. Pretty much every other game, it needs to be something where I can just say, okay, let's play it for a short time. Something like World of Warships. I can pick up World of Warships, I can play a couple of battles, I can put it down. I don't have to play it for 6 months. But strategy games, which are the type of games I like to play, it's like, if I can't get this finished in one sitting, I'm probably never going to finish the current game save. Because it's going to be 6, 10, 12 months later where I get back to playing, and it's just sort of, I've totally forgotten what the campaign's going and I need to start over. Which is a little sad. Once upon a time I had a life. Then we had kids. And a house with a bigger yard. And a yard that needed more work done in it. That was the thing. Our last house, it had grass and that was it. There was a copse of trees that might have been partially on our land, but really, not a big hassle. However, that said, we did have issues where trees got blown over in the latest storm, and we had to deal with the wood, and our shed got blown away. But all we had to do was cut the grass every week. Here we've got a lot of trees that need care. We've got sort of planting beds around the house. Which also need to do. We got to trim the shrubs today. Not something I relish doing, but it has to get done. And with Mrs. Osa being in hospital, or in and out of hospital, and having medical issues, which means she can't be as active as she would like to be, that also results in me having to do more of the heavy lifting tasks around the place. Although right now she's kind of at the point where, oh, can I do the cut the grass? Sort of, yeah, sure, go cut the grass. It leaves me free to do something else. So this weekend, she's going to cut the grass, and I'm probably going to be chopping wood branches into burnable sized chunks and a load of other stuff as well. So I'm not looking at 3 hours in the backyard doing all of the tasks. It's probably looking like a family event of an hour and a half, and we get it all done. Why did you stop there? That's... Ooh, hello. Well, I guess my brakes aren't that good, so I'll just keep going. How about that? So let's go exploring. Oops. I don't know if these houses are particularly Scottish looking. I mean, a lot of places I've been in the UK, it's concrete with sort of stone blasted sides or brick. It's not really wooden frame and siding, which is more of an American thing. Okay, looks like there is a road on the other side of these trees. Possibly a farm track on this side. Farm track there. Can't see. Oh, that was good. Oh, and there's a sell point down here as well. Oh, and that's actually the direction we want to turn. So it's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon game time. And it's early March, so I mean, I don't know how accurate the lighting is. Obviously there is an adjustment to sun up, sun down, but I don't know if it's daily or whether it's calculated at the beginning of the month for the entire month. We could be looking at something like a 12-hour daylight. How do I get to 51? Oh, sorry, car. You go. There we go. Of course, I could put this on a worker and tell it to go to 51, and it would take me there by the most efficient, not on the roads route. Looks like we're good. Okay, here we are. Born to be kings. Or something. I would say normally it's a good plan to buy a bigger field. So if you need to sell a small one and replace it with a big one, that's a perfectly valid option. However, I have a strong discouragement on my game save from doing that. And that would be the dynamic field prices thing. And the reason I say that is because with dynamic field prices, you always lose a certain percentage of income, or sorry, of field value when you sell. So you can buy, I can buy a field for a lot cheaper than base value, which is what we did with our new field. But let's go to fields. Let's go to fields. There we go. So if I look at this field, it's currently worth 140,000, which is less than I paid for it. I paid about 170, 180, so it's already lost 30,000. Selling this field, 147, it's worth a lot more. Selling this field, worth a lot more. This field technically is worth less. So I could sell this. I could be selling this field for more than I paid for it. But typically, you know, I've lost 30,000. I would have to wait till this field is more like this one, which is plus 95%. So ordinarily is 300,000 to buy, is 600,000 at the moment. But if I buy it, I will not be able to sell it for 676. I will be able to sell it for about 640 if it maintains the plus 95%. There's a thing, you know, that's the thing that dynamic field prices does for you. So there's no field flipping or anything like that. You really have to make your mind up that you want the field that you're buying. Now, one of the advantages is I can look at the fields that I want to buy, and if one is cheaper, then I can buy the cheap one that I'm eventually planning to buy. So you're saying you have a shortage of grass, so you need another field that that either has grass in it or you can plant with grass. Again, you know, if when you're starting out, you know, sometimes having two small fields rather than one large one might work out better, because two small fields give you flexibility that one large one doesn't necessarily, unless you go and split the large field into two, in which case if you've got the option of having a small field, why not buy the small field and just have two small fields, one for arable, one for grass, like you have at the moment. You can buy a third small field, plant it with grass. If you find, you know what, I actually have too much grass here, or this one is producing more grass than the other one, maybe I'll turn the other one into an arable crop for next year. You can mix and match. So it's possible to do things. What I'm trying out here, and admittedly I have the Scottish calendar or weather calendar by Disturbed Simulations running on this. It's actually part of the map. It looks like it's possible to plant a spring crop, harvest it, plant grass as a cover, and then in spring get a cut of grass and plant a new crop. So if you look at my calendar, I think I can do an early cut of grass in April, which would mean I can plant barley, oats, potatoes and sugar beets. Or I can wait till it's ready to harvest and I can still plant barley, corn, sunflowers, soybeans, potatoes and sugar beets. And planting grass, I can plant grass in November, which means so long as my crop is ready to harvest, potentially potatoes and sugar beets might not be if I plant them too late here. But everything else, theoretically, I can harvest those crops and plant grass for the winter and have the grass ready to cut. So I'm getting a grass cut and an arable cut every year. I'm not getting 3 grass cuts though. So, you know, and that's something I'm testing this year on this map. Next, if it works out, then a lot of my planting schedule is probably going to be having grass in the ground over winter, mowing it, and then planting a spring crop of something, and not planting any winter crops. Now, if I plant, the other option is I can harvest my my crop and then plant a winter crop of canola or wheat or something, and see where we end up that way. But it's having the options to be able to do something. Now, admittedly, I'm looking at fields that are 3 hectares, which are quite big. But this is giving me, because I've branched into, now I've got a very, very tiny field in the yard, but I've also got 3 big fields around the outside. We are producing a lot of stuff in each field. I mean, we got almost close to 500,000 litres of maize last year. We get about 450,000 litres of grass between our main grass field and the small patch south of the yard. And then the new field we just bought that was potatoes last year. I'm planning to plant corn this coming year, so we could potentially have a little under 1 million litres of maize silage. Doesn't pay exceptionally well, but that's still going to be about £260,000 income from that field. And my first cut of grass this year is probably going to net a somewhat similar income just before summer. So, and as I said, my plan here is to maximise our income for a couple of years. I started off with a forage harvester, which is kind of rare for me. I usually start off with renting a regular harvester. And then about harvest year 3, I'll be looking at buying my long-term harvester. But we're foraging, so I'm not looking, at least not this spring, at planting a crop that I'm going to run through a regular harvester. But the money we make